What up, everybody? Everybody, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to the podcast, you guys. Here with my co-host, Sweet Tea, aka my brother.
Blood brother.
Brother, Sweet Tea. It's been a while, man. It's been, what, 2 weeks?
Ooh, got a little low there. Yeah,
well,
2 weeks.
2 weeks before we actually uploaded any video. Of course, everybody
About
knows.
a week and a half.
Week and a half. Yeah. It was, fight week. And that's what we're going to be talking about, man. We're going to be talking about just kind of everything that happened. Mm-hmm. Everything that happened. Not leaving any details out. And we got a story time. Something that was pretty embarrassing for me during fight week. So we got to get into that.
Yeah.
How have you been, Sweet Tea? What you been doing?
Been good. So my fight week, 4th of July week, went a lot different than yours did.
Yeah, I know that. I'm
While
very jealous.
You were up in the hotel, cutting weight and doing all those shenanigans, getting your mind right, going through all that stuff. Me and my family, my wife, kids, and my mom and my aunt and cousins, and we were at the beach.
Partying it up, man, in Florida.
Just
what the heck?
Living the dream.
I hate it.
Anna Maria Island out there in Tampa.
Yeah, well, the whole hurricane was going on.
We actually missed the hurricane a little bit. We also went to Disney.
What?
And so we were in Disney while the hurricane was passing through Anna Maria, so we didn't get hit by it a whole lot, which was fortunate.
Lucky, dude. I'm so jealous.
But
I'm so jelly.
I guess God was like, it's a little messed up that you're in Florida on vacation while Steven's going through that. So just to kind of make you feel a little bit of pain, I'm going to let you get stung by a stingray.
Yeah, I heard that, dude. I saw
I got
the
stingrayed while I was down there.
Going all, what's his name?
Who?
What's the guy's name? Rest in peace.
Oh, yeah, Steve Irwin.
Yeah, going all Steve Irwin on us. But he was like stabbed multiple times by a giant.
That was the word. I immediately was looking it all up. I got hit. I didn't know what I got hit with at first. I have in the past stepped on a crab out there in the ocean, and I knew it was like a sharp, slice getting cut. It pinched through my toe. Fortunately, didn't cut it off.
But this hit you pretty hard.
But this hit me towards my Achilles.
Ooh, sensitive.
And I had no idea what was going on. It was day one. We had just got there.
That's what you get, dude. That's what you get for going on vacation.
We're chilling out there in the water. My wife's floating. She's drinking a little drink. I'm walking out there. I'm about to get my day started, dude. And then all of a sudden, ba-bam, stingray and what the messed up part is that like 30 feet away from us, there was about a party barge of like 30 people over there.
And you had to be the one to step on it.
Here I am by myself, just trying to do a little snorkeling. Get the week kicked off right. I'm the one guy that accidentally stepped on the stingray.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was probably the one area that didn't have a whole lot of people but you, so it just decided to stay away from all the other people. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you actually stepped on it. The entire ocean floor, you had to step on that one dangerous thing right there.
Yeah.
And it got you in there. I saw the wound was pretty deep, man.
Yeah, it got me. Fortunately, the barb didn't break and stick inside, nothing crazy like that. But I got to tell you, for a few hours, my whole leg, up to about my knee, I got stung towards my heel. Up to about my knee was throbbing. Yeah, they got some venom action going on.
Venom action in the barb?
Nothing too crazy. It was a small one. It was about the size of my foot. I wear a size 14 shoe, so it was about the size of my foot. Painful. So it wasn't huge.
I saw the wound when it happened. It looked painful, and the swellingness of your foot was ridiculous.
It did. My foot bruised and swole up.
Aren't you supposed to pee on it?
The next day.
Or is that just a jellyfish?
I believe that's fully false. I don't think you're supposed to pee on anything, really. I don't know where that came from. Maybe a buddy was like, let me pee on it, and then it just kind of stuck. But yeah. No pee happened.
That's what I would think of. Immediately just pee.
They actually say, and this isn't like a proven thing, but you should soak your foot, soak the wound in like
warm water,
hot water,
like
so 110
it draws out
degrees.
It must draw it out.
That's the theory.
We gotta go back and try that again.
Yeah. So this time you'll step on it.
No, your other foot. That's why you got 2 feet.
Hot water, that bad boy.
Well, that's what you get. For going on vacation without me. You could have spent quality time in Vegas.
Said no one ever. No one's ever like,
open.
You know what, family? Let's take a quality trip to the Las Vegas Strip. Quality family trip.
We've done it though. We've done that before. It was pretty fun.
It's fun if your whole family consists of adults.
And
there's like 3.5 things
never
to do
been
for
before,
kids.
and if you've never, we've been so many dang times. It's like we've done seen and done everything. Canyon, we've seen Elvis, we've seen pretty much all the Cirques.
Yeah,
Zumanity, which is weird.
But we haven't done much off of the Strip. I heard off of the Strip's really awesome. Getting
like
out
into the
mountains and all that stuff. We're mainly just spending most of our time on the Strip, which
that's what all I can say is that's what you get, bro. Thank you, Stingray.
But I would totally sacrifice 4 hours of uncomfortability for a pretty dope trip in Anna Maria Island. Plus, I was in Tampa Bay when the Lightning won the Stanley Cup, so that was pretty epic.
Oh, yeah, that was epic.
I found myself pulling for the Lightning because I was there.
Sweet.
I was in there, and they won the Stanley Cup, so that was pretty cool.
Well, while you were doing all that, I was going through the whole process, the whole quarantine UFC process that I've done before. A little bit better this time. I mean, instead of quarantine right when you got there for 24 hours, we only had to do it for 45 minutes, which I don't even know why you even got to take a test. But I don't think it's the UFC. I think it's maybe State Athletic Commission making them
people
do that.
Just crossing
Insurance,
their T's,
maybe?
dotting their I's, making sure their hind ends are covered in case something happens, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But
Did y'all have to test like every day, or was it?
No. So we got there, we tested, and then we had to go straight to our room, and then we got a text 45 minutes later saying we're clear, and then we can kind of go down and do what we need to do. We had to go get our fight kits, which was always pretty dope, get new Venom stuff. Had to go sign posters, 150 posters, which was pretty cool. It's always like a UFC, stamp. You have to go and just do all the signings.
Poster signage.
And still to this day, I don't even know why, I still start off with my entire name, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and then not even halfway through, I'm just doing WB.
Well, it was like funny when Connor showed up in his suit. He was doing like a fat circle, like that was it.
That was it. Just
he was like, that was it. And he was just
Connor, what's
like
the O for? What the heck?
No one knows.
Yeah.
Speaking of fight kits, how'd it feel? How'd the fight shorts feel? Any different?
Oh no, dude. Actually, they felt like. And I'll always love Venom designs, which is why my first sponsor in the UFC was Venom. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Of course, I had sponsors on my Venom shorts, but those were pretty dope.
Pretty sure I still have that hat that you got with that Venom fight kit.
Really?
The red and black Venom hat.
Thanks, dude. But they were awesome. Everything that Venom has is way better than what Reebok had. Clothes wise, it was just dope. Everything fits great, better quality.
This is their first. I remember Reebok being pretty dope whenever they first got there.
And then
they were kind of like, all right, we've established ourselves. We can start kind of pulling back on some stuff. Start, saving some money here and there.
Yeah. But it was quality stuff. I love it. I first got that look for Chris's fight. Got my first Venom kit. So I still have it. They had some really nice stuff. Good joggers.
So far, bad luck on the Venom stuff.
Yeah,
not
the shin
the
break, and then
at least with Reebok, you got a few wins right off the bat when Reebok came in there, and it was like good luck Reebok, and now it's like bad luck Venom.
I don't know what happened from my first fight to now. I mean, I was doing quality, with the Venom stuff, but now it's like, But it was good. I mean, a great week, a lot of media. I had a ton of media this time, which was. I mean, I don't mind it, and I don't mind the quarantine action, being away from the fans. I love hanging out with the fans, but when you're going through a weight cut process, I remember when we stayed at MGM Grand, we had to walk like 3 miles in the hotel just to get to your fight room. Mm-hmm. And then when you got to the fight room to do a daily workout, it was packed. You had to go all the way back up to your room until it cleared out, which was probably around like 2 a.m. Yeah. Then but here we had our own room, which is literally a hotel. We stayed in the Residence Inn.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that the last one before.
Yeah, we stayed in the Residence Inn. The UFC bought it out. Everybody had their own room, and we had.
Were there any fans there?
No.
So
no fans.
Still no fan interaction.
No fans. We literally was just nothing for you but UFC fighters, which is good. I mean, because you're kind of isolated, get your mind right, things like that.
Everybody's
do your media
going
stuff.
through kind of the same stuff. So
you
don't have to worry about all that farting around.
Yeah, which was, I mean, I don't mind that at all. I didn't mind that. That's what I still like about the quarantine part. So you're kind of isolated from the fans. It's not crazy. Mm-hmm. Every time you step out your room, you're not having to, while you're going through fight week stuff, you're not on top of that having to cater to the fans, which I don't mind it, like I said, but it does take your mind off of everything. You know, without the fans there, you can just focus on what you got to do.
Yeah. No distractions.
So, same old there. We did have to quarantine for 24 hours. We had to do another COVID test after weigh-ins. And, which is
after your actual weigh-in, the official weigh-in, or the unofficial celebrity weigh-ins? Like, not celebrity, but like the show weigh-ins?
After the show weigh-ins.
Maybe somebody sneezed up onto the stage and got you
I guess.
or something?
I don't know. I have no idea. But we had to do a 24-hour quarantine after the mock weigh-ins, which is fun. That was fun. I like that. I was glad to get back to that.
Seeing everybody out there.
Yeah, seeing everybody there hyping you up, man. You just get you just jacked up for the fight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the whole weight cutting thing was pretty wild. I, got down to 171. No, it was actually 170.6, 170.8. So that was a crazy story. I told you about that. Got my weight down. I went live on Instagram during the weight cut process, talking with the fans, things like that. We got done with our weight cutting process pretty late. I got to 174 or something like that, 174 Thursday night. And I stopped there, went back to the hotel room, ate some pineapple, went to bed. Floated a pound overnight. I had like a pound and a half to go or something like that.
Floated means lost a pound.
Yeah, floated means you lose a pound
When you
overnight.
sleep, you kind of naturally sweat and, urinate. You're not taking in any fluids or anything, so you float, a.k.a. lose a pound.
And what helps is with that is shivering. So we turn our AC up to full blast, as cold as it can get. And then you're under the covers and everything, but it's cold outside, so you're always cold, and you're already skinny as crap. So you're burning calories while you sleep. So I floated a pound and a half, had a few more to lose.
Sounds miserable.
Yeah, it was miserable. It's always miserable. Woke up the next day, did a warm bath to lose that last pound. And weigh-ins were from 9 a.m. to 11. So we had to go downstairs to the lobby, weigh in there, just to make sure that we're on point. We drove to the PI, not the PI, the Apex, UFC Apex, which is where they do the fight night fights where there's no fans.
Yep.
That's where we did our weigh-ins. Literally got off the bus, went straight to weigh in, and then started drinking my drink. Now, this is where it gets embarrassing, people. Story time. Down in weight, obviously feeling miserable. So we have these drinks and food because we're there for a little while because we got to get looked at the doctor. Got to go through our medicals. And while you're there, we have food, and I've got like 5 shakes that I have to drink. Now, these shakes, along with some water. Now, I'm depleted of pretty much everything at this point. And these shakes have a ton of sodium, sugars, vitamins, minerals, potassium. It's got everything you can think of in a shake. So it's rough on the body if you chug it, right? So I guess I just drank this thing a little too fast, along with a bunch of water. You can chug water, but you have to sip this drink. And you have 5 of these things you got to drink. And the more you finish one, the other one's got more sodium. It's got more of everything in it as you go on.
Kind of gradually get your body working its way back up to retaining those vitamins and minerals.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there, and the whole UFC roster there, including ESPN, including UFC workers walking around trying to get everything. The doctors are there, and I'm sitting there with my dad with a bunch of fighters around me, and people are coming up to try and talk to me, and I'm sitting. I already drank my first drink along with like 2 water bottles, and then I started getting like something started to happen to me. Like, I don't know, I just started feeling really dizzy and queasy, man. Everybody was trying to. I'm not the kind of person to shoo people away. I was shooing everybody away. I was like, oh my God. And Dad's like, are you about to throw up? I'm like, I couldn't even say yes. If I said yes, I would have projectile. I would have thrown up right there. So I started doing that, pointing towards the trash can. Dad runs over there and pushes like some UFC fighters away to try and get this thing to me. And I projectile. He didn't give it to me. I projectile vomit everywhere in front of the entire UFC roster. in front of everybody. And what was crazy before that, all these other undercard fighters are coming up to get pictures with me. It was pretty cool. You know, a lot of these guys are, oh man, can I take a picture of you, Steve? I'm such a huge fan. I'm like, wait, I'm like, dang. You know, people, you know, there's some of these fighters are looking up. Like, they look up to me. I was like, it was pretty sweet.
Well,
pretty sweet.
You're an old head, man.
I'm a veteran now.
You're an old
Stupid
head
to
in the
think
game,
of.
literally and veteranally.
And one of the guy that fought
O'Malley?
Carlos Condit.
Max Payne,
Yes,
Griffin.
Max Payne, super cool guy, man. I had just signed a card. He gave me one of my Wonderboy cards. Man, can you sign this for me?
That's
Sign
cool.
it for me.
That's
Super cool. He's such a nice guy. I love that guy. And as soon as he literally sat down, like right behind me, it was like, you know when you see babies throw up, they're just like, bleh, and they're like,
Yeah.
like nothing happened? That was me.
So as soon as you threw up, you felt better?
Oh my God, immediately better.
Like
Queasiness,
throwing
everything
up
went
after
away.
a workout or something?
And it was on like a turf or a carpet, so it soaked up everything. It was all fluid anyway. Just I made one of those like noises, and the little gurgling sound at the very end. And then I just look up and I was like, "Well, that was embarrassing."
Did you say that?
I did. I was like, "Well, that's embarrassing."
And what did everybody say? Was everybody like,
It's like, "Oh yeah, welcome to the club, man." I guess that's happened to a lot of people.
yeah.
And I guess because when you drink it too fast, you just projectile vomit, and that's this thing.
So they weren't like busting out laughing?
No, they weren't. And the UFC people were like, you know, they were coming after me. They took me to another room to chill out, relax, you know, and try and get some of this fluid down. And I ended up getting it down and feeling immediately better. But oh my gosh, bro, I was the first time ever.
Were you scared at that point of maybe like the fight being in jeopardy or anything, or did you immediately know like we're good?
No, I knew I was good. I was kind of like, oh man, where's Gilbert? I hope he didn't see that. You know what I mean? He was doing ESPN stuff.
Okay.
Thank goodness. I just about threw up just then. I threw up my eggs and bacon right there, Tony.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, so he was out doing his own thing, but oh my God, I immediately felt better, but it was kind of embarrassing.
Did Max give you your card back? He's like, you know what? Second thought, just take this back.
You can have that card, dude.
Yeah, you can have that back, man.
No, he didn't. Everybody, I mean, all the fighters and stuff were cool, but all the other UFC people were like, oh my God, they were freaking out because
you're the co-main event on one of
Yeah.
the biggest cards in the history of ever.
Oh my God.
And it would suck to lose you the day before the fight.
That was terrible. That's the second time I've thrown up in front of a bunch of people. Like, I wouldn't say it was as embarrassing as my other one when I threw up all in the ring that one time.
Oh, kickboxing days.
I kickboxed, yeah. It was in a casino, people. In a casino, everybody was smoking, like chain smoking. And
like, was
the
this
ceiling-
Connecticut or Atlantic City?
I think it was Connecticut, maybe. I was 17, 18 years old, fighting in the IKF World Classic. So it was like a tournament-style kickboxing. It's the first time I fought. That's when I fought Peyton Russell. First met Peyton Russell. And we fought up, and the ceilings were fairly low, so everybody's smoking. We're fighting in the smoke, in the cigarette smoke. And
It's crazy that they were allowed to smoke
oh my gosh, I know.
where y'all were actively competing and like needing oxygen.
Terrible. It was terrible. On top of that, you know, yeah, my coach and my dad, they had a bunch of vendors there, like, you know, vitamin and, you know, nutrition vendors, and dad's trying to shove all this crap down my throat right before my fight. Here, man, try these oxygen pills. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it was terrible. It was bubbling up in my stomach. And after the fight, you can see me. We got it was on cassette tape. There was no disc. It was on cassette tape.
For sure.
You see me throw up 3 times, and I swallow it. I throw up, and the third time I did it, you see it squirt out the side. It squirt out in the swallow. It was embarrassing. And then the referee raised my hand, and as soon as I opened my mouth, I projectile vomit everywhere. It literally covered a half the ring. The whole place went quiet. And next thing you know, I was up in my hotel room, and I left Dad there to clean it up. Good. So yeah, that was my first time. Wasn't as embarrassing in throwing up in front of the UFC roster, but it was pretty embarrassing though. So that's what happened. That was probably, that's one of those you'll remember forever things.
Mm-hmm. That one time I vomited in front of everybody.
Yeah. But, at that point, everything was good. Everybody was rehydrated. We did the mock weigh-ins, which is really exciting. It's being there in front of the people, and it was just super cool, man, to have the fans back in there and the vibe and stuff. And so wake up Saturday morning, and it's funny, man. I'm like, all right, I got 6 hours before I have to leave this venue to go to the T-Mobile Arena. And I'm sitting there, 6 hours seems like a long time. But when it's fight day, it flies by. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, 6 hours. All right, 4 hours left. All right, 2 hours left. All right, 30 minutes left. I'm getting everything ready. We get there to the venue. Everything was great, man. I felt fine. I felt great. And then it was go time. I'm sitting there in the back, obviously all nervous. You're up next. And it's embarrassing. I mean, it was not embarrassing. It was nerve-wracking. Because there's a ton of really good fights on the card. Not only that, but $75,000 bonuses. $75,000. In my last 2 fights, I got bonuses, both of them. And of course, didn't happen this time. But great fight card. Carlos Condit found the card. You had Sean O'Malley on the card. You had Hardy getting knocked out. You had so it was just a really good card, man. Super exciting. What was besides the main event? Like what was the one fight besides mine in the main event? What was the one fight you were looking most forward to? You think
it had to be Sean O'Malley?
Yeah.
Just because the he's in like a weird spot of he's got a lot of star power, but he really hasn't fought like anybody crazy yet.
Yeah.
I mean, Thomas Almeida was tough dude, obviously. Marlon Vera was obviously a tough guy, probably the toughest guy he's had to fight to date. Even I would say Marlon Vera is even tougher than Thomas Almeida at that point in time. But his last second, opponent switch, and then they get this relative nobody to come in and fight this dude on one of the biggest cards ever.
Hats off to that dude.
I was like, this is going to be interesting, right? Like
you never see what this guy's got, right?
Never. I've never seen him. And then I heard like he was like 2-2 in his last 4 fights on the regional circuit. And I'm thinking if he's 2-2 on the regional circuit, he's about to fight Sean O'Malley, who's got exquisite striking skills, and he's just a tricky, crafty dude. I was like, okay, there's probably going to be another highlight reel knockout.
Did not expect it to go the way it did. I mean, the guy's pretty much brain dead, I think, at this point.
Nuts.
But he did not stop walking forward.
And he did not stop walking forward, and he did not start moving his head or blocking.
No, he's know what? He's not going to hurt me. I'm going to take these shots to the face. I think it was a pretty wild tactic. Maybe he was trying to hurt Sean O'Malley with his face.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe he was like, listen, you can't knock me out.
I remember after the fight, him saying he possibly had broken both of his hands and his foot.
O'Malley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was like legit he broke his hands or not. I haven't seen anything out there. But I remember hearing somebody saying that he thought he did.
Crazy. He threw a lot of front kicks and probably kicked a couple of elbows or whatever. But that was crazy to me.
That got fight of the night, right?
Yeah.
God, of course.
Had to have. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say fight of the night because he didn't really do anything back.
Yeah.
It should have been like a performance of the night, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, that was crazy to see how many times that dude got hit. And he got hit hard. How many times did he get hit, right? He got hit. I don't remember.
Probably 99.9% of the time, like every shot.
Sean O'Malley had like a 98% striking. I mean, I don't know if it was that high, but it was really high.
Yeah.
Accuracy.
And to look at a guy like Sean O'Malley, he doesn't look like a guy that can knock you out, but he's got power. I mean, you don't have to be super strong to knock somebody out. And he can knock you out in a heartbeat, but this guy was just not going down. Mm-hmm. Just not going down. He got staggered a few times, but just would not. It was unable to be put away. He was like, it's not happening.
Did you agree with the stuff? Wait, real quick. So a couple of questions about that. Number one, you got this guy, Moutinho, I think his name is, not stopping moving forward. Yeah. You got Sean O'Malley constantly backing up, and you can see he was getting visibly just very tired. He was getting winded. He didn't stop, but he was getting really winded. He definitely slowed down a little bit there. If you're Sean O'Malley, what can you do differently against a guy who's just constantly walking forward? Is there anything you can do to try and not exhaust yourself every second of the fight?
I think it really depends on where you are. I mean, I know Sean O'Malley's probably in the best shape of his life, but still, when you got a guy like that and you're moving backwards the whole time,
and you're not stopping and right, and
you're backing up and you're planting, and the guy's even running into it and still not being put away, that you have to outpoint him. You just have to move, and you just have to outpoint the guy. You got to go from hitting this guy as hard as you can every shot to, okay, I'm going to pick when I'm going to hit this guy as hard as I can, because you have to conserve energy that way.
Just be more efficient on
Right,
those strikes.
more efficient.
You're already hitting them.
Up.
Don't make every shot of just trying to be
Right. Brings
But-
me back
but-
to the Vicente Luque. Very difficult to put away. In the third round, I just had to outpoint the guy because I had 2 broken hands too.
Mm-hmm.
I know Sean O'Malley was talking about his hands being hurt, so he was just moving, hitting. Obviously, his opponent wasn't throwing that much back, so it was visibly. You know how you say guys that are backing up can lose a fight, but when you're with that dominant backing up like Sean O'Malley was, it wasn't questionable. It wasn't at all.
Yeah, there was no doubt in my mind.
No
that
doubt in
guy,
your mind.
lost
But
the fight
if he was throwing more and it was fairly even, I feel like he could have pulled it off just because he was walking forward.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was just such a huge jump in the strike, being landed, strikes thrown, and the damage. The damage that guy took was just stupid. So, but the stoppage, everybody was like, oh,
That was
he's
my
walking
next question.
forward.
What do you think about the stoppage?
To be honest with you, you kind of go back to the Tony Ferguson fight. He was still walking forward. He was still shaking his head, was willing to fight, and they stopped it. But it was one of those
But
where
at least
all right,
he was retreating. He had retreated, and he was like
shaking
trying,
his head,
and he was
right?
shaking his head. You can see he was kind of like, I don't want this. Moutinho was just, he was getting hit, but he wasn't retreating. He wasn't.
But he
getting
wasn't even
wobbled.
throwing anything back though. At the same time, he was just taking shots.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the referee is there to protect the fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're taking shots like that and not answering back, I don't remember. I recall him not answering back.
I think there was
any.
actually an exchange that had happened, and it looked like Sean O'Malley had really hit Moutinho with something hard, but if you watch the replay, it wasn't as hard as it originally looked or something like that, and that might have been what Herb Dean was reacting to.
Yeah.
But there were definitely other points and other moments in the fight where I feel like the fight could have been stopped and it would have been more justifiable than at that moment in time with like 30 seconds left in the fight or something crazy like that.
And the thing was, that's probably going through Herb Dean's mind.
He's like, I should have stopped it.
I should have stopped it here. I'm going to stop it right now. And that's such a, between a rock and a hard place situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I, all this is going on. This guy's taking a ton of damage. I should have stopped it here. I'm just going to jump in right now. Like, it's tough. It's tough, because a lot of these refs, they do make bad decisions, but some of them are just like, are good calls, but fans just eat them up anyway. And Herb Dean has had some questionable stoppages, like in the past, some ones that are just like, all right, that's stupid.
But if you do it long enough and you referee enough fights, you're going to have questionable decisions. As long as the majority of them that way, you can get away with a few. And I think if there's anybody that can get away with a few, it's him, just because
Herb, he's been in the game for so long too.
Yeah.
But I think he could have lasted how many seconds were left?
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot left.
Yeah, I think he could have lasted that for sure. But
At
still,
least finish the fight out.
his job is to protect the fighters. That was a good fight. But one of my favorite fights of the night was Tuivasa in the Hardy fight. And what was crazy about that, it looked like David and Goliath. Yeah, Tuivasa is a big dude, but when you stand next to Hardy, it's like,
Was he in your corner, Hardy?
yeah, Hardy was in my corner. And super nice guy. I many times walked past him. Walked past him. I mean, he was sweet to me.
Yeah, I guess you
can. Huge teddy bear, it seemed like, but
not sweet to other people.
Yeah,
allegedly. But anyways, go ahead.
But he was great. But the size difference between the two. You see a big guy like Hardy, and you see this kind of like. Reminds me of you, dude.
It's messed up. Real freaking messed up, dude.
No, I'm not saying you're fat. I'm not saying
you
he's
literally
fat.
just said we have similar body compositions.
I mean, big quads, big legs, arms, traps, can hit like a truck.
Actually, I respect Tuivasa, so I'm not too upset.
I mean, but you can see it, right? And you're like, oh, I don't know if I can handle the heavyweights, but bro, number one, Tuivasa was quick. He got staggered, and he used that to his advantage.
Very Czech Congo, Pat Barry-ish.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like,
staggered.
snap.
Hardy was like, I'm going to rush in. That's why you never rush in.
Yep.
You never rush in. You got to rush in very cautious. And you could see the face. He was like, oh, here it is. And he gritted. He literally bit down his mouthpiece, hit him with the right hand, and then dropped him with a left hook. Mm-hmm. It was money, man. It was money. And the shoeys. Do you think you would ever do a shoey?
No, it's not like a. It's not something where I'm like, you know what,
that's pretty cool.
that's worth a shoey. That's worth drinking alcohol out of a shoe.
Out of somebody's sweaty foot that you've never met in your life.
Yeah, dude.
He probably had athlete's foot.
Or some sort of
Gangrene,
necrotizing
maybe.
fasciitis going on. Just you never know what people's feet be like, dude. It's
Yeah,
just
dude.
like,
Couldn't do it. But when you're that hyped though after fight, what? I don't know.
No,
I
I'm gonna go
might do a shoey.
buy a high quality beer out of a high quality bottle with no quality diseases in it after a fight, especially one like that, which you know was going to get a performance bonus.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was great.
Drink out of a
Who was
shoe.
the other one? Who was the other performance bonus?
I wasn't sure, to be honest. As soon as your fight ended, I was just kind of like,
So you're like, I'm going to go to
I'm
bed.
done. I quit. I'm out of here. And I haven't really been on social media or anything since then. So I don't know who got it. Sean O'Malley and him got it. Tuivasa got it. I'm not sure who else. Maybe
Connor got it for breaking his shin.
Did they get one?
No, they didn't get one.
They didn't need one.
They did not.
They made bank.
But moving on to my fight, Tony.
Mm-hmm. How'd you feel, man?
I felt good. I think during this fight, as you can tell, like, you know, you're so working on in camp defending the takedown, not getting taken down to the ground, not letting this guy get you down. You know, this guy's jiu-jitsu. When I should have just went out there and did my thing. You know what I mean? I believe, and I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Being honest with the fans and you. You know, I felt like I was more worried about how he was going to take me down because I wasn't really sure. I've seen him do different takedowns before. And I was expecting this guy at some point to fake the takedown and try and just come up with an uppercut or an overhand right, you know, to fake me out. When I should have just went out there and just put it on him. You know what I mean? Put it on him. But that's one of the things out there you have to worry about. It's like Damian Maia. It's a boring fight, but you have to be so aware of not letting this guy get in on your legs, which he did. He took me down every round. I didn't realize how strong this guy was going to be. Everybody in the UFC, like you said, is strong. But when it comes to, you know, holding you down, just holding you down. In the first round, he ended up taking me down. He tried to advance, which allowed me to scramble back up to my feet. Second and third round, it was just like, I'm holding you. I'm just going to hold on to you. Landed some good shots, had some good exchanges up top. Hit me with a few shots that nothing hurt. I think because whenever I do get hit, I like to move with the punch. So took a lot of steam off of a lot of the punches. I gave him like 2 up top. It didn't hurt at all. And of course the little rabbit punches on the bottom. But yeah, it's especially on the ground. It's hard to make your position better when all they're doing is squeezing you as tight as they can. Normally
not
they're
giving you any space to work with.
Yeah.
Because what grappling's about, you know, you got to take the space that's given to you, or you have to be willing to, you know, allow some space in order to advance your position. And in that moment in time, your partner can capitalize on that and create a scramble to get up. Mm-hmm. And I guess because maybe you had gotten up in the first round, he was like,
nope. And when you're going against a guy like that, a high level of ground experience, and you see some of his strength workouts, all he's doing is just this. He's like squeezing. That's it. Squeeze. Squeeze. And that's what he does. I mean, he's a grappler. So it was like, you know, all right, this dude. In the first round, when he took me down and just kind of held me there for the first 30 seconds, I'm like, don't tell me this is what he's going to just try and do the whole time. Just hold me. I'm thinking this guy like Johnny Hendricks. He's going to try and take me down, you know, try and go for something, you know, move its way up, try to really hit me with the big shots. And he just hit me with he just little rabbit punches and just didn't give me any space to get up. So after that first round I got up, he was like, nope, no more. You know, dropped him with a spin hook kick, recovered fairly quickly. It was smart game plan on his part.
Do you feel like it's fair to criticize your lack of activity in that fight? Some people, because the significant strikes relatively low, definitely not like what they had been against Luque and Jeff Neal.
Right.
Do you feel like it's fair to be like, well, you just kind of didn't do much?
While I was out there, it was a bad idea in my head. It was like I just feel.
You mean it's a bad idea to engage?
To over. It's so hard when you fight a guy like that. He's shorter, lower center of gravity. He's explosive, and if he gets a hold of you, it's very difficult to get away. So you have to keep him in a space where I can land shots, maybe not my hardest shots. If I overextend by just an inch, he could take advantage of that, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't. So it was like, I look back now, knowing that I felt like he was just scared of my stand-up. He was scared of my stand-up. Mm-hmm. He was looking back at it now, I was like, I should have done this, should have done that. But during the fight, it just didn't feel right. Didn't feel right to overextend myself to let this guy get a hold of me. Mm-hmm. So, but now that I look back, I was like, wow, I don't think he was looking for anything like that. I think he was just
literally just trying to do enough to win the round and just beat Wonderboy.
Yep. That's
what it kind of looked like to me. Watching, I haven't rewatched it or anything, but it was just kind of like, all right, let me avoid the strikes and do what I can to just win the round. Just win the round. Like the first round, he held you against the cage. He didn't do anything.
No.
Did some knees to your legs or whatever, and you were actively trying to escape, but he just pinned you against the cage.
He was squeezing.
That was really it. And then with like you said, like a minute left, he switched to that single and got you down, but you were able to get back into the cage and work your way back up, and then the round ended. And it seemed like he went for a couple of bombs up top, but you can tell that was not his goal. His goal was not to, in what he typically does, and really be aggressive and land those big heavy shots. He was like, nah. And he wanted to, but then he like really pulled back.
Yeah, and that's the kind of feel I had. Like all these guys looking to do is hold on to me, and I can't let that happen. So it obviously kept me from walking forward too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Overextending and kind of over.
Yeah, I was disappointed in myself, man. And now that I look back, just let it go. Just don't worry about him, and think about what I need to be doing to him out there,
or anybody else,
I fight in the future. Right? You learn, and that's the experience, and that's what I got from this fight.
Awesome.
That's what I got from it.
You just learn, right? You just learn what you can do next.
Exactly.
So a couple of questions. Number one is, obviously no injuries.
Nothing.
Did you, at the very end, and this is kind of just ridiculous in my eyes, obviously I'm your brother or whatever, but like the 10 shots where 10 seconds left and he just went ham on the back of your face, did any of those hurt you? Were you like, what the heck? It
was such a moment thing of get back up to my feet. That wasn't in my head at all. Afterwards, when the back of my head, I've never had the back of my head hurt. Mm-hmm. Never had the back. From here, forward has always been sore. This wasn't even sore at all. Back from here all the way back around was sore. And I went back and looked at the clip. Like, he had my head pushed down, hand here, and on the ground he was doing little rabbit punches. And those don't hurt. Yeah. And in the second round, you remember, they didn't hurt. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna block. I'm just gonna punch back. We'll just punch each other in the face because none of that hurt. But when he stood up and was like, and he said he took the NMF belt away from me. Definitely not an NMF. Like,
that is not an NMF tactic right there.
And if you're a real NMF and you accidentally hit somebody in the back of the head, you got it right then and there. Say sorry.
Yeah, you have to stop the fight and apologize.
Sorry about that.
Very similar to you and Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah.
You have to stop the fight and say, hey, man, my apologies. And then continue to fight.
So he didn't take it away. He's not.
And just by saying he took the NMF belt away is not very NMF-like. So.
Yep. Boom. I still have it.
Still the
got
NMF.
It right here. See?
I'm the judge. That's the ref.
Yeah. So you live and you learn, man. I lost, yes. Another freaking notch on my lost belt, but hey, still ranked number 4. Still have a possibility to fight somebody with a name. George Masvidal. November.
So what's next? What are you looking for next? So let me ask you this way. Yeah, it wasn't like you lost. So you got to kind of see that as a step back. But it wasn't like a terrible loss. He didn't starch you. It's not like it was like this convincing, just like he beat the crap out of you for 3 rounds. You don't deserve to be in the top, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So do you think the title is still
I think
a
it's still around the
possibility?
corner. I do believe that. Because, I mean, who else they got? They're just going to keep refiltering these guys back through Usman, the guys he've already beat.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously the fights with Colby and Leon will be rematches.
He's had 2 Masvidal fights.
Fought
back to
Masvidal
back,
twice.
pretty much. So
You just got to beat somebody next.
I got to beat somebody. I know. I'm looking at George Masvidal, man. I mean, he's ranked behind me. He's coming off of a knockout. He got knocked out by Usman. And I think that would be a great fight, Intimate versus BMF.
I think it would too, but I don't think he'll take that fight,
I don't
to be
think
honest.
so. Come on, man. Give me Nate Diaz, too. I would like to fight. Give me somebody with a name,
Yeah,
We'll
see. You got
I'm
Chiesa,
still trying to fight.
and Luque coming up. Of course,
Yep.
you already fought Luque.
But I do believe like Luque's got a really good chance of winning this fight. He's got his best friend is Gilbert Burns,
Who's a grappler,
wrestler
guy.
Yeah. Chiesa's a big dude. I can't believe he made 155. He's ginormous. I think he's coming off of an injury or something, right? Why he had?
I think he was injured for a little bit.
He was injured for a little while.
I think he messed one of his ribs up versus Magny or something, or maybe a hand. I don't know, something.
Yeah. So you got I know that fight's happened. You also have some other fights coming up at the welterweight division. Bilal Muhammad maybe is trying to get the Neil Magny fight.
Yeah,
I know they're talking back and forth.
Fight.
Give me Masvidal, man.
So November. Even if it's not Masvidal, do you still want to fight in November?
I would love to. I would like to.
You are injury free-ish.
I am. I would like to fight in November. November has always been like my month. Number one, it's always in a hype spot, big card. 2, it's before Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So you got go through that, and then you got your rewards meals and vacations afterwards.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to fight again on vacation week.
Yeah.
That would suck. Christmas
I ain't trying to get stung by a stingray again, dude.
Yeah, don't do that.
Trying to get my payback.
But what's up with everybody breaking their shins now?
They need to watch their shin conditioning video.
I know.
It's funny because every time when Chris broke his leg, that video was coming back up. People were commenting, "Who's here after the Chris fight? Who's here after the Chris fight? Chris should have watched this fight." And then Conor broke his leg. Conor should watch this fight, or Conor should watch this video. Who's here after the Conor fight? So it's funny that one.
Really? They started doing that? Who's here after the Conor fight?
Yeah.
For real? Wow.
Yeah, comment. Who's here after the Conor fight?
Let's go.
Like
and it's
that,
our video?
So, yeah.
Sweet, dude. That's pretty cool.
The shin condo.
But yeah,
video.
man. Do you think he broke it on the check, or do you think he broke it?
I think he broke it before that happened.
Yeah, that's right, because there were footage of him leading up to the fight with ice on his shin, taping it up. Have you seen those?
No. Well, I had watched an interview with Dana White earlier, and he had mentioned that he's always had ankle issues. He's got chronic arthritis in his ankles, McGregor does. I don't think it was as severe as him having broken it. I think he was throwing leg kicks wicked hard early in that fight, and I think he did break it, because if you look right before that exchange happened, they got back up, you could see his shin bone where it broke. It was already starting to give. It was already broken. I think but he was still. It was weird. It was already giving. It was already flexing like it was about to break.
Do you think one of the bones have broken and they're just waiting for the other one to break?
Maybe, or he was just waiting for that moment where he needed to shift his weight in a specific way for it to come apart.
Uh-huh.
But I noticed that right when he stood up and him and Dustin were getting back at it, his lower shin was caving in, but he was still fighting. He didn't even know it. And then he threw that left hand, pivoted, and I think just that torque was all he needed to finish the break.
That was just, but what's
that
crazy?
Stinks. He's out for a year now. He's got to go through the whole process. Chris is going through.
But the thing is, what I got from actually the experience of Chris's break, that the doctor says that happens all the time. So they're really good at putting stuff like that back together. And it's going to be stronger next time. The bone is going to be strong. You got a metal pole in it now. Yeah. Titanium pole, an adamantium, vibranium pole.
You just got to hope that it doesn't start to seep into the bloodstream, slowly poisoning you, eventually, ultimately leading to your death via blood toxicity.
Exactly. AKA, I was a Wolverine.
Just got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. But all in all, a great card, man. I'm bummed, but we'll be back better than ever, man. I know what I got to work on mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm ready for the next one.
I think that's the big thing, too, that people don't realize is how mental fighting is. You think because you're big, you're strong, you're faster, you're more powerful, you're going to win the fight. But you can have all those things, and if your mind's not right, you're not going to be able 100%. To use them. So
100, dude.
Back to the drawing board,
yep.
Getting better, learning, moving on. Again, no injuries. So you can start training like this
I've already started training. Just moving around, helping our guys get ready.
Your noggin still. But.
Yeah, back of my head sore. I got a MRI on my skull because I definitely had some headaches after that fight.
Mm-hmm.
But my black eye, that's the only thing that the remnants of last Saturday. I can't believe it was a week ago. It seemed like it was like a month ago, the fight.
No.
It was just last Saturday. Wow. But yeah, ready to rock and roll, man.
Cool.
Yeah. Sweet T, nice joining you, man.
Always a pleasure. Welcome back.
Always, dude.
Good
Thank you guys for joining us. Type down in the comments down below what you thought about Saturday night, what you think I should be working on. Obviously, takedown defense. But, that's always my good. That's always the thing. Yeah. To work on your takedowns.
I will have to say, though, before we finish, on the stand-up, when the exchanges that did happen, it was obvious that you got the better part of those exchanges.
Thanks, buddy.
Like you said, he landed like a couple, like literally like 2 right hands. But, you looked more crisp. You were hitting them. You were tagging them. And you could tell that he did not want to be in that world with you.
At all.
So, just,
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Thanks for boosting my confidence, man.
You're welcome.
But, yeah, guys, thank you for joining us in this podcast. Sweet Tea, tell them where they can find this thing.
You can find us over on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. So,
whoop.
if you're not big on watching the podcasts while they're going on, head over there, listen to us while you're at work, all that good stuff. Don't forget to leave us a review. We really, really appreciate that.
Would love it.
Like the video, comment, subscribe for weekly uploads, and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out. We're going to get back on our weekly uploads. Now that the fight and all that stuff has calmed down, we're back at it. So let us know in the comments below what kind of videos you want to see in the future, and we will get those out to you guys.
Appreciate you guys. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Peace.